Well, hello. Welcome to the Tao Manifesting Tarot, the most unusual tarot reading on the internet, maybe any place. And I want it that way specifically because we are in critical times. It is essential to cut out the rainbows, unicorns, fantasy stuff. We have to hit the ground running. We have to pay attention. We have to have our eyes open because between, well, you could say now, but I'm saying 2027 to 2030, watch for humongous changes in the way we do things, think things, carry out business, all of that stuff. It is all being set up now. So I'm not here for the rainbows and unicorn people. I am focusing on human kryptonite. That's manifesting. That's your ability to create pictures in your own imagination. Now, don't depend on a computer, artificial intelligence of any kind. Don't do it. Stuff that comes from outside of you does not connect with you in an appropriate way. You have to experience life and then create those pictures within yourself, project them outward. That's what is so absolutely essential about quality manifesting, creating the pictures in your imagination. Vital, and that's what we work on, that's what we focus on. One thing I want to focus on right now, though, is to remind you that I am terrible at communicating with people. In part laziness, in part just I'm old and it sometimes just gets to be a little bit of a pain. But I have come up with an email specifically for the Tarot Podcast. It is tau-tarot@proton.me. Tau-tarot@proton.me. I will do my best to check with it every single day. It focuses my attention on one single address. Pick up any kind of questions, comments, whatever you wish to do. It's perfectly fine. I've been around for a long time, so if you have nothing nice to say, you can still say it. It's okay. I'm fine with that. But I do want to reach out with the communication, and I'm simplifying it, putting it into one email address, tau-tarot@proton.me. So let's get back to the original business at hand. This, of course, is the Tao Manifesting Tarot, and we are dealing with a theme today. Basically, it is the theme of an observer, but I call it Watcher of the Skies. Looking behind the clouds, which is a hell of a task these days with what they're doing with geoengineering. But the point is this: you have to look deep. You have to look past what's obvious. And at this point, 4 or 5 years down from the COVID jerky thing, whatever the hell it was, you should be awake enough and paying attention enough, conscious enough, to be able to see something behind the clouds that they're throwing up. You should be able to be the watcher of your own skies, because that's what manifesting is all about. You're manifesting from your spirit. That's the kryptonite. That's you saying, I came here for some sort of a spiritual purpose. I don't know maybe what it is. Some people do, but most people don't. But I want to connect with that again because I'm disconnected with my purpose, my life, the world around me. I want that back again. So, I use a 3-card tarot spread. I add in astrology and numerology. I've done tarot for 20 years, have discovered, from my point of view, from my experience, doesn't predict a damn thing, but it is the science of potential, your potential. You are. The cards are literally putting out a message, a frequency. So you want to know clearly what that frequency is. And then I add in, I've done it for 50 years, astrology, numerology, because they're the science of cycles. Within cycles, within cycles, within cycles. So what they do is they set the scene. It's like the numerology and astrology, because it's the science of cycles. You can predict energy from 10 years ago, 100 years ago, 200, 500 years ago, and bring it into the present to show you how it's the same energy. It's just expressed differently because the conditions are different. And that's important to know when you're applying your kryptonite, your manifesting. You have to know what are the ground rules. Otherwise, I cannot do my manifesting nearly as effectively. So what we do is find the energetic cycle. We use the tarot to tap into it. You connect with the feeling, then you act on it. So literally, the numerology and astrology sets the table for the feast. The tarot is the feast. So let's get off and running here a little bit. Let's begin the Tao Manifested Tarot reading with Astrologic Astrology. I do this every day. Again, to give you that perspective, not just to dump out some tarot frequency and to go, hey, you figure it out for yourself. Little understanding goes a long way in making you more effective. So, the past few weeks, and I'm hoping probably to continue until America's birthday next year, July the 4th, 2026, I'm taking a look at something I call the conquest of America. America's been overcome. It is not what it was 250 years ago. It has been subverted. It has been taken prisoner, one step at a time. We talked about how in the 1600s, the industrial age began. People from England moved over here to the United States, took it from the Indians, didn't care because they were Indians, who cared? But then the banks got involved because around 1600 or so, a little bit later, the King of England wanted to go to war. He didn't have any money, so he went to the rich people of Europe and said, hey, give me money so I can fight my war. Well, one of those people, not all, but one of those people were the Rothschilds. And they said, hey, we'll do it, but you have to give us the Bank of England. Well, there was no Bank of England. They created the Bank of England, and they wanted specifically to use that name, the Bank of England. It just carried weight. So once they got control of that, then they started to move to the colonies. And it was a tough battle because they fought over taxation. They fought over all kinds of things. The colonists were very independent. After all, they came from primarily Britain to the United States. They're a different kind of cat. You can't just push them around. Well, finally, we get into a revolution. So after the revolution, there's a little bit of economic upheaval because you just came out of a major war, starting your country. So that's when the Rothschilds decided, hey, we're going to do in America what we did in England. We're going to create the Bank of America. They didn't call it that. I think it was the First National Bank of the United States, something like that. But that was the whole idea. Because the man at the end of the American Revolution who ran the Rothschild Empire said very simply, you can do what you want with the government, give me the money. Let me control the economy of the country. You can do what you want with the government. Well, sure. We see what happens. You see that Washington is purchased by the same people who ran the Bank of England, who run the World Bank, primarily Zionist Jews, but not entirely. All of them psychopathic. All of them dangerous as hell. But right after the Revolutionary War, when America was kind of on its knees financially, that's when they zoomed in and said, hey, we want to do the same thing we did in England, except we're going to call it the First National Bank of America. Alexander Hamilton, a man very much appreciated by Wall Street and the bankers because he was a fascist capitalist, supported this idea. And 1791, they got the first Bank of the United States. A couple of years later, they set up Wall Street. What a convenient situation there. The Bank of America, Bank of the United States, and Wall Street working together, which they still do. So in 1811, their lease was up. They had a 20-year lease, 1791 to 1811. It was up. And people like Thomas Jefferson, James Monroe, others said, you know what? This whole U.S. banking is bullshit. We don't want that anymore. And so they delayed on giving the Bank of the United States another 20-year run. Well, Rothschilds got upset about that. So they started the War of 1812. What they wanted to do was to beat the shit out of the United States, run down its economy so that they would be begging the Rothschilds et al. To set up the Bank of the United States again. They wanted to teach the imprudent American colonists, get the hell out of our way. Our job is making money. Our job is controlling the economy. Our job is controlling the government and the world. Get the hell out of our way, so we're going to start a war. Well, they lost. They lost. They were very unhappy about that. They pushed hard, and they did get a second 20-year lease, but that even opened up more problems. But the point is that in 1811, the first piggy bank, and I do mean piggy, came to an end. And the Rothschilds did not like it. The astrology at the time was Jupiter and Saturn opposing one another, both of them squaring Pluto. And I think Saturn was retrograde at the time, meaning that whatever happened at this time, it was going to be a sticky wicket. You ain't going to just get rid of it real quick. And of course it came back because they did get another 20-year lease shortly thereafter. But the point of the matter is that this first U.S. bank, created in the image and likeness of the capitalist fascists, tried to take control of the United States of America. They've done it. In fact, they did it back in 1913, 100 years after this story that I'm telling you. We'll get there. We're going to work our way through there. You're going to see how the conquest of America has been taken on by the bankers of the world. Right now, they own it, and they ain't about to let it go. The planetary influences were Jupiter and Saturn opposing one another, Gemini, Sagittarius, Pluto, I believe, in Pisces. Tough, hard situation, and we're still paying for it now. Meme for today. Oh, man. You know, one day the laughter is going to stop. You're going to realize the crazy ones, they weren't fools. They were the ones brave enough to face the truth, speak it. Even when you did not want to hear it, they weren't your enemies. They were the last line of people defending you, and you were too stupid, too unintelligent, too shallow to even know. Here's the missing link for today. It's from an unknown, but I love it. Laziness kills ambition. Anger kills wisdom. Fear kills dreams. Ego kills growth. Jealousy kills peace. Doubt kills confidence. And then at the bottom he says, now, read those things again, but this time not left from right. Go right to left. Makes even more sense. Ooh, yeah, it's scary stuff. So that's the kind of basic stuff, the stew that this tarot energy is sitting in. Let's go to the tarot itself, Eight of Swords. This woman is a prisoner of her own making. She feels powerless. She has no belief system. She stands for nothing, believes in nothing. And what has she got? Nothing. Well, not entirely. All of those swords are data points. Now, they can be lies. Right now, they're all lies, but she can change that. You see that little stream? That's intuition. That's her emotion. If she were to follow that, she can get out, untie herself, get free. But she doesn't have the power. More importantly, she doesn't believe in herself. And when you're in that position, Eight of Swords is the best you can hope for. How about the Eight of Cups? Okay, Eight of Swords, she feels lost, powerless. She doesn't feel fulfilled. She doesn't feel plugged into her own life. It's her own choice, her own choosing. At this point, she's got to know that she has a role to play in her life. But she's disconnected like everybody else. We're into the technical stuff. I don't want to do the human stuff. I want to do the computer stuff. Eight of Cups says, look, I'm attached to the computers. I'm attached to the technology. I'm attached to the lifestyle. But it's killing me. It's killing me. It's killing my humanity. I got to walk away. It just doesn't work for me anymore, and you can't go back. You don't want to actually, frankly, go back because you know there's nothing there for you. But it's a huge leap between the Eight of Swords to the Eight of Cups, feeling powerless, and then finally with the Eight of Cups taking some power and walking away. Finally, you have the sun. If you do that, clarity and optimism are your gifts. You can see things clearly, you can understand clearly, and you got the energy because you have taken some control, some element of control in your life, and that's always empowering. Always empowering. You have to be the observer. You have to be the watcher of the skies in your own life. See the truth. No matter how painful, the Eight of Swords, decide to walk away from the crap that they've handed you and watch what's on the other side. The yellow brick road, I think. That's it for today. We're out of time. Thanks so much. Always appreciate you and I getting together. By the way, please, as always, like and subscribe. I know I'm beating a dead horse there, but it's so important. I'm telling you. They are leaning hard. The fires, the fog in the sky, the food, all of this. They're throwing everything pretty much they can throw at us. Time to stand up. Time to decide you're going to turn your back like the Eight of Cups and you ain't looking back. You're going to move forward. Between now and the next time you and I do tarot again, hopefully tomorrow, peace and blessings.